For decades, air power was measured by one question: who has the most advanced fighter jet? But today, a more serious question is rising inside NATO and Pentagon circles. What if the most advanced jet becomes too expensive to fly often enough? The F-35 is a technological powerhouse: stealth, sensors, electronic warfare, strike capability, and intelligence collection in one platform. But that complexity brings heavy maintenance demands, software dependence, spare parts pressure, and massive sustainment costs. GAO reports that projected F-35 sustainment costs rose from $1.1 trillion in 2018 to $1.58 trillion in 2023, while the aircraft is expected to remain in service until 2088, pushing total costs above $2 trillion. This creates the real danger: budget gravity. Every dollar spent keeping one jet flying is a dollar not spent on more aircraft, missiles, pilots, training, and readiness. A fighter that cannot fly often enough becomes powerful on paper but limited in war. Sweden's Gripen follows a different philosophy. It was built for survival, not luxury bases, able to operate from roads, hidden airstrips, and dispersed locations with small ground crews. Saab says Gripen can be refueled and rearmed in around 15 minutes, giving it a major advantage in sortie generation. The point is not that Gripen is more advanced than the F-35. It is not. The real threat to Pentagon thinking is that Sweden may have solved a different problem: affordable readiness. Because in a long war, victory may not belong to the country with the most expensive jet. It may belong to the country that can keep more jets flying, more pilots trained, and more aircraft ready when the war refuses to end.
The real disruption behind the Gripen is not only its low flight cost, it is how the aircraft is built to evolve. Most fighters are upgraded slowly through expensive certification cycles, but Gripen E was designed differently. Saab separated mission system software from flight-critical software, allowing new tactical applications to be added faster without disturbing core flight safety. In simple terms, the hardware stays in service while the software keeps adapting. That makes Gripen dangerous in a modern war. A new weapon, sensor mode, electronic warfare tactic, or data link function can be integrated more flexibly than in older siloed aircraft designs. Gripen turns air power from a fixed platform into an updatable combat ecosystem. But software is only half the story. Gripen was also built for ugly war: dispersed bases, damaged runways, small crews, and fast turnaround. Saab says Gripen can be refueled and rearmed in minutes by a small team, allowing it to generate sorties quickly and survive after major airbases are hit. Now compare that with the F-35. Its digital backbone is extremely powerful, connecting stealth, sensors, mission data, electronic warfare, and maintenance into one advanced system. But that same complexity creates delays, dependence, and heavy modernization costs. GAO has reported major delays in cost growth in F-35 upgrades, including Block 4 and TR-3. This is the hidden danger of a software-defined fighter. When the software pipeline slows down, the whole machine slows down with it. New capabilities move through contractors, testing, certification, budgets, and integration bottlenecks instead of arriving at battlefield speed. So Gripen does not challenge the F-35 by beating it in stealth. It challenges it through architecture. One aircraft says maximum capability through deep integration. The other says survivability through speed, simplicity, and upgrade freedom. And in the next war, the advantage may not go to the most complicated fighter. It may go to the one that can be updated faster, serviced faster, hidden faster, and sent back into the sky before the enemy knows where it came from. The next air war may not begin with a dogfight. It may begin with a missile strike on the runway. That is why modern air forces are moving towards Agile Combat Employment, or ACE, the idea that aircraft must move, hide, refuel, rearm, and launch from multiple locations, instead of depending on large, vulnerable air bases. This is where Gripen becomes dangerous. It does not need to beat the F-35 in stealth. It only needs to prove that in a missile-saturated war, runway independence can matter as much as radar invisibility. Gripen was built for dispersed war. Saab says it can operate from narrow roads, short strips, and temporary bases with small crews and limited equipment. It can land, refuel, rearm, and launch again quickly, making it harder to find and easier to keep in the fight. The F-35 can also practice austere operations, but its strength comes with complexity. Its stealth, sensors, maintenance needs, and support systems require more infrastructure and discipline. So the difference is not that the F-35 cannot disperse. The difference is that Gripen was born for it, while the F-35 is adapting to it. In a real conflict, that changes the battlefield. If a main NATO airbase is hit, fuel storage damaged, and runways cratered, a Gripen unit can split into small road-based teams and keep launching. Faster turnaround means more sorties, more patrols, more missile threats, and more pressure on the enemy. One F-35 may be more capable in a single mission, but multiple Gripen launches can create persistence, and in distributed warfare, persistence can overwhelm perfection. The question is no longer only which fighter is more advanced. The real question is which fighter can still launch after the runway is gone. Modern air power is no longer only about who owns the most advanced fighter. It is about who can keep flying when budgets, supply chains, and war pressure begin to break the plan. This is where Gripen becomes more than a jet. It becomes a political and industrial weapon for countries that want credible air defense without being trapped inside an unaffordable maintenance system. Brazil chose Gripen not just as an aircraft, but as an aerospace strategy. Through technology transfer and local assembly, Brazil is gaining jobs, skills, production knowledge, and long-term defense sovereignty. Thailand followed a similar logic after its F-35 request was rejected, moving toward Gripen as a more realistic and controllable option. This is the new geopolitics of fighter procurement. Smaller and mid-sized air forces are no longer asking only which jet is most advanced. They are asking which jet can we afford to fly, maintain, upgrade, and control for the next 30 years. Sweden's NATO entry made this even more important. With Finland and Sweden inside NATO, the Arctic and Baltic regions now form a stronger northern defense wall. Gripen's low logistical footprint, cold weather design, and dispersed operating model make it especially valuable on this flank. The F-35 remains a powerful aircraft, but its cost and sustainment pressure are impossible to ignore. This is why the old high-low mix is becoming survival logic. High-end fighters provide stealth and penetration, while lower-cost platforms provide mass, training, coverage, and endurance. That is the lesson Gripen forces into the room. A country does not need the most expensive air force to create deterrence. It needs an air force it can sustain under pressure. The Pentagon's nightmare is not that Gripen replaces the F-35. It is that Gripen exposes the weakness of any strategy that confuses maximum technology with maximum staying power. Because in a short war, the most advanced jet may dominate the opening night, but in a long war of attrition, the brutal question becomes, who can still afford to fly on day 100? By 2030, the question may no longer be, which fighter is stealthier? It may become, which fighter can learn faster? That is where Gripen becomes dangerous for traditional fifth-generation thinking. In 2025, Saab announced that a Gripen E had flown with Helsing's Centaur AI agent fully integrated on board under Project Beyond. Saab's message was clear. In the software age, there are no generations, only speed. Stealth will remain powerful, but it is only one part of the kill chain. Future dominance will also depend on detection, jamming, data processing, pilot workload, decision speed, and rapid software upgrades. If AI can improve radar behavior, electronic warfare response, threat prediction, and target recognition, then a non-stealth aircraft can close parts of the gap by adapting faster. This does not mean Gripen becomes an F-35. It does not. The F-35 still has stealth, sensor fusion, and deep NATO integration. But the F-35 faces pressure from slow and costly modernization, including delays in Block 4 and TR-3 upgrades. So the real debate is not whether the F-35 is powerful. It is. The real debate is whether its dominance can survive a world where good enough systems become cheaper, faster, and easier to update. Gripen's advantage is practical, high availability, rapid upgrades, low operating footprint, and enough combat power to stay relevant. And this points to the future of air power. Not one perfect machine, but a mix of stealth, affordable mass, AI-enabled updates, dispersed operations, and aircraft that can keep flying under pressure. The F-35 may still open the door, but aircraft like Gripen may keep the pressure on after that door is open.
Because the next air war may not be won by the jet with the most advanced brochure, it may be won by the Air Force that can launch again and again after bases are hit, budgets are strained, and supply chains are exhausted. In the end, aerial dominance may belong not only to the stealthiest fighter, but to the side that can keep its engines running the longest. If you found this analysis valuable, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and stay connected for more defense updates. Thanks for watching.